Fred. Welcome to the Max Review. Today we'll be talking about budgeting and why it's important to have a budget. The Prime Minister, Mark Carney, refuses to tailor a budget, and for some reason, we're not sure why. Well, let's look at the videos.
Oral questions. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to welcome the Prime Minister to his first official question period. This is where democracy lives, and this is where we provide rigorous scrutiny on every word he says and every dollar he spends on behalf of Canadians. Now, let's talk about those words and dollars. During the election campaign, it was elbows up as he put retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. Then secretly, he dropped those tariffs to effectively zero. But he didn't stop there. He told Canadians that the government would collect $20 billion in revenue from those tariffs and use it to cost his platform. Now that those tariffs are going to bring in $0, two quick questions. Why wasn't he honest with Canadians during the election? And how's he going to make up the shortfall? Is he going to borrow it, print it, or tax it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, may I first thank my constituents from Nepean for giving me the honour of being here. And could you also indulge me to say how great it is to see you in the Speaker's chair, and I trust that you're operating under the period of grace that will not be accorded to me. Appropriately, as the Leader of the Opposition just said. Mr. Speaker, our tariffs have maximum impact on the United States, minimum impact on Canada, and we are dedicating all the revenues from those tariffs to supporting the workers and businesses affected by the unjustified American actions.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, he didn't take long to pick up old Liberal habits of not being able to answer questions. But since the election, Canadians have been inundated with grand rhetoric and pretty speeches from this Liberal Party, but they are still suffering under all those policies. Household debt up at record levels, number of people who can't pay their mortgages increasing, food bank use continuing to rise. Now TD Bank is forecasting a recession with hundreds of thousands of lost jobs. The PM said undoing the damage of the last 10 years would require great speed, but he's not going to table a budget for 6 months. If he's the man with the plan and the guy you hire in a crisis, why won't he table a budget before he goes on summer vacation?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the member of the opposition is very busy. Didn't have a chance to study closely the 100-day plan of the former member from Ottawa, Carleton, which did not include a budget. Our plan includes legislating. Our plan includes legislating for one Canadian economy and nation-building projects immediately to grow this economy, and we expect the support from all in this House.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
They must be really afraid to come clean with Canadians if they're going to punt it off into the fall. But, Mr. Speaker, with the throne speech yesterday, Liberals have effectively admitted that it was their policies that caused the suffering for Canadians. Their reckless borrowing and massive deficits caused the inflation. The carbon tax drove up prices and drove away investment. And their anti-development bills chased jobs out of Canada. Now, the Prime Minister is claiming that somehow the Liberals have changed. Well, he has a chance to prove it to Canadians. If he's serious, will he tell Canadians that pipelines are part of his values by repealing Bill C-69, the No More Pipelines bill?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Canada's new government is acting immediately to grow this economy. I just made my maiden speech in this House. Canada's new government, Mr. Speaker, is acting immediately to grow this economy. One Canadian economy out of 13, nation-building projects, one project office, working with the provinces to cooperate. We expect the support for the members opposite.
Hear, hear. That's right. L'honorable député.
The Honourable Member for Charlesbourg-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister campaigned on the slogan, the man with a plan, but the problem is that he's refusing to tell Canadians what that plan is. A budget would have been a plan. The Liberals are going to go over a year without tabling a budget. That's never happened since the 60s. But what we do know is that this Prime Minister is determined to spend even more than Justin Trudeau, and he's refusing to tell Canadians how he intends to spend their money. What is the Prime Minister trying to hide about this Liberal government's finances? Mr. Speaker, the new Canadian government has a plan. It has a daring plan, an ambitious plan to bring together the Canadian economy, have one economy instead of 13, and in order to create new projects to build this great nation. The Honourable Member for Charlesbourg-Haut-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, what I'm seeing in front of me is the same ministers, the same government that's been in place for 10 years. We know the result of 10 years of this Liberal government. And what we have now, yes, is a new Prime Minister, but a Prime Minister with no plan. He said he had one, but he doesn't want to table a budget because he knows perfectly well that his plan is disastrous and that our public finances are in a terrible state. Will this Prime Minister commit to tabling a budget before the summer? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I have a question for Mr. Carney, Prime Minister Mark Carney. Why is it so hard for your Liberal Party to table a budget? I mean, what's stopping you from tabling the budget? You know, during the election campaign, if you remember, you did say you were the man with the plan and that Canadians should vote for you. And that's exactly what happened. Most people voted for the fear of Donald Trump, to be honest. But I guess that there was no really any other substance to this election other than Donald Trump, right? But if you are the man with a plan, I don't understand why it's so difficult that you can table a budget. Here's the thing. Remember our previous Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau? He made that noticeable comment, the budget will balance itself. And here we have the Governor of Bank of England, and the Governor of Bank of Canada. This Prime Minister worked for both countries, okay? He's been in the financial sector for a very long time. But for some strange reason, Canadians will not get to see a budget. I mean, think about it. There is a claim that we are in crisis, right? And this is a time of economic uncertainty. And yet, for most family members, you know, when times are hard, or even if they're going through crisis or economic uncertainty, the first thing they do is make a budget. When do most people make a budget? Well, I'll give you a few examples. When you go to the groceries, you make a budget. If you plan to go on vacation, you make a budget. If you plan on making big purchases, like a house or a car or anything else, you make a budget for it, right? If you plan to retire, you budget. If you plan to have kids, you make a budget according to how much you think you can, you will need to take care of kids, or how many kids you will need to take care of with how much money you want. Anyway, my point is, there is no reason why, if we're in the crisis, we cannot tailor a budget. it's ludicrous to actually hear this come from this guy's mouth. And I'm sorry to say that we expect more than what we're getting at the moment. You know, you may ask, why is it so important that they table a budget? And there are a few reasons, right? For one, we know our economy is not in good shape. So it's important for a budget to be tabled so that we can keep our spending in check, right? It also helps manage our finances, right? It also enables us not to spend beyond our means, right, Mr. Carney? And it also helps us with our future planning. So if for a prime minister to come in and not be able to tailor a budget or have his members come up with some form of a budget for Canadians, I think it's quite disappointing. My name is Fred. This is the Max Review. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.